My first question to you, so we have Molly and the Chromatics. Are there Chromatics?
There are Chromatics.
Who are these Chromatics?
We've got Tom and we've got George and
Uh-huh.
we've got Ollie.
Oh, okay.
And then we also have Matt and Guy. So we've got George on the guitar.
Right.
We've got Tom on the keys and synth bass.
Yep.
Then we've got Ollie on the drums.
Okay.
And then we sort of have, so those are the core members. And then we have two horn players who sort of are kind of rotational. We've got their contract to us. So we've got a pool of a couple, like maybe four that,
Yep.
and they're all contract musicians. So they are in other bands and do other musical things. So whoever's free out of them comes along with us on tour and plays with us live. So they're all great guys. But Matt Bizzle often comes. Guy Harrison is another.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you say I haven't seen you guys live. Where have you played around? Where do you usually play in Auckland?
We've played Galatos a couple of times.
Right.
Played Nick at the Woods.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, we played there. But Galatos is, to be honest, our usual.
Oh, okay.
I love it there.
What kind of crowd comes out to see you?
Actually, this year. Pardon?
What kind of crowd comes out to see you?
Well, it's quite a mixed bag, actually. The thing is, with the crowd, it started off, as it does for, I feel like, a lot of Kiwi musos, as our friends, family, and community.
Right.
And I'd say from there, it sort of spread to friends and friends, and your classic Kiwi 2 degrees of separation.
Sure. Yes, there's a lot of
thing. But we have an awesome community following. So it's always, we always have friends in the audience wherever we go around New Zealand, which is such an amazing feeling and thing to see,
Right.
But I'd say it's a big mix of people as well, big age mix as well. I don't think it's necessarily limited to people between 23 and 30.
Right,
but
gotcha.
But I would say majority would be, maybe 20, and people in their 20s and early 30s.
Gotcha. Your core audience, as they say.
I'd say so, yeah.
Very good. Now, you've got a single that's just come out called Goddess.
Yes.
And what are you going to tell me about it?
Well, Goddess is a song that's incredibly important to me. It's particularly important to me. I think all of the songs that we're creating feel important in their own way, whether it's the message, whether it's the music, the feeling, all of that. But I think particularly Goddess, because I'm the only female in the band, and I just wrote this song as I was inspired by the amazing women that I have in my life, and I just wanted to write about that and how I wanted to celebrate them. So that's kind of how it started, where it came from. I just decided that I really wanted to, I wanted to write about that. And I have this sort of, this deep feeling within me that I really feel that everyone, if they can, should do their best to be authentically themselves, because at the end of the day, we're all different, unique human beings, and it's a beautiful thing. So I think, particularly with women, if you are authentically yourself, your inner goddess will shine out. And I believe that. If, sometimes in our society, I guess there can be narratives of maybe women being to this or to that, or women particularly trying to, for men and non-binary, anyone really, but I am speaking from a woman's perspective of my own learned,
Yep.
But maybe we try and mold ourselves to fit into an expectation or something. But I mean, so we were able to record it remotely. I did some demo vocals, and I finished it off at the depot.
Right. So this is the first of a series of singles. Well, it's leading up to an album, right? So whereabouts are you in the making of the album?
It's a tough question.
I didn't mean for it to be.
No, it's okay. I guess it's tough because it's, with these things, you have to make a call on when it's done.
Right. Oh,
but
yeah.
You can always keep on, adding, but I mean, we know all the songs that we're going to put on it.
Oh, that's a
we've
start.
got all of those. So we've written all the music. We've got 2 completely finished, mixed and mastered, and one of them was Goddess. The other one actually we've just sent you. It's called Hold Tight.
Okay.
Did it just before we got on the Zoom call. And
cool.
The others are probably, we've got maybe 3 that are 3/4 done.
Right.
Or maybe 4. And then we've got another 4 that we have to get all the band in the room to sort of do the final. Right. I guess. Yeah. So we're sort of, it's really hard to say because a bunch of them we can sort of whip out in the next month, but then the other ones might take a bit longer. But it's a process.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Are all the rest of the band living in Auckland?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a plus right there.
It
doesn't always happen these days. Yeah.
No.
So, when do you estimate that it will be out, you think?
We're hoping for November is sort of the line in the sand. Ideally, we'd like to have it out by, before the festival season. I guess we've got a festival in October, but before the summer festival season gets cracking.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think the festival season is going to be this year with all the COVID stuff happening and lockdowns and quarantines?
It's an interesting one. It's interesting because I thought in my mind, it is an amazing opportunity for upcoming New Zealand bands and artists to have an opportunity to have, more of a chance to have a platform, but also because of COVID and lockdown, people maybe have had more material and there've been more new bands out there, and it's actually quite competitive. I reckon. That's my thought.
Do you see the New Zealand music scene as somewhat competitive?
I believe that there's room for everyone.
Right.
In any sort of instance of that kind of thing. But so no, I feel no, but it might be competitive in the sense, maybe I'd say bands and artists aren't competing against each other, but there are only limited slots at a festival.
That's true.
So in that sense, I'd say overall, personally, from my point of view, no. I think everyone, like I said, are individual. No one sounds exactly the same, and all we can do is learn from each other, really. And
do you kind of align yourself with any other local acts, musicians, bands? Do you kind of feel like you're part of something?
Yeah. I personally, I look up to many New Zealand artists. I love New Zealand music. I guess like who we align ourselves is quite different to who I aspire to be like, But I'm a huge fan of Bailey Wiley and Lady Six and Fat Freddy's Drop and people like Solar Rosa. I love Holly Smith. But then I think we have more of a similar vibe, maybe sometimes to Fly My Pretties.
Right.
Sometimes to more of a Fat Freddy's element. In terms of what's out there right now, there's a band called Round Buddha who we play with a bit. And
and
also Sky Canvas in Wellington. They're fantastic. And also, it was Sky Canvas in Wellington, I guess. It's sort of a more... There's a lot of, I guess, surfy rock out there at the moment, and we're not similar to that, although I do love that.
Right.
We are just quite different to that, so I guess more of the bandy vibe, maybe like Lord Echo.
Yeah, because I've been talking to a lot of Australian bands that have been putting out albums left, right, and center. They all look very surfy. So, it's kind of
the look. I don't have it, unfortunately.
Me neither. I've never been on a surfboard in my life.
Well, It could be. It's sort of a toss-up at the moment.
Okay.
We're not 100% sure. It could be Hold Tight, what I sent through, because it's ready to go.
Right.
But I also believe that that's our best track. So you let me know what you think. I'll be interested to hear what you think.
I will.
Marty. But I love the song. I like how the strategic sort of side of it, whether we release that closer to the album and help that promote the album, or we just get it out there in the universe.
Do you have a team of people that make these decisions, or is it up to you?
We are a team as a band, and also Sam's our manager, and so him and we've got an exec producer, Morgan, so we're sort of like working quite closely together on deciding. And I've got other friends in the industry who have, advice and what they reckon. But ultimately, in my opinion, there's no rules, really.
Right.
I mean, maybe there are, but I don't know about them.
No one's told you. Well, these days, all the rules seem to be out the window anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what the heck?
Exactly. I just think do what feels right. So that's what we're sort of tossing up between. I'm the least strategic person in the team.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's all good. Let's put it out.
Right. Well, it's probably a plus, because somebody's got to be that way. So it's all part of.
The most annoying creative.
Well, it's part of the job. You got to be creative.
You do.
So do you write constantly, or do you write when you need to write, or how does it work for you?
I write when I feel like writing. Mm-hmm. Really, like I go through patches, and it depends what else is going on in my life. I think I did a lot of writing last year. I was overseas, and a lot of time, funnily enough, on trains. And I find, on trains, even when I'm driving, I find it's my best thinking time, which is very dangerous because I'll sort of be there on my phone, like writing thoughts down.
Don't do that.
But I think it's terrible. Or when I'm on a walk, I think it's sort of when your mind is maybe in a meditative. I'm not saying driving is necessarily meditative, but it's also one of those things that you do, and sometimes you just do without thinking. You get to A to B and you think, oh God, how did I get there?
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
I do it often. I need to be like, no, focus. But I think when I'm in that state is when I do my most sort of just natural thinking without thinking about thinking,
Right, yep.
And that's when like my sort of true thoughts and feelings will come, I think. And I write it down, and then at a later time I'll put it together if it feels right. But it is like if I'm busy doing other things, like at the moment I feel pretty busy with working on the album, with work, all the other things. There's no space for that right now. So I guess it goes through waves.
Well, now I want to go and check my email and listen to this next song that you've sent me. So I'm going to do that, and then hopefully you'll be playing out. Do you have any gigs lined up?
Yeah, we do. We've got a bunch in September, actually. We've got we're playing in Owakuni, and we're playing in Dunedin and Wellington, and we're hoping to do a release party for Hold Tight in Auckland.
Cool.
So you have to come to that, Marty.
I will. Just let me know when it happens. We'll give it a little publicity and do what we do.
Yeah.
Excellent. Have a good evening.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too. See you later. Bye.